Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? It's been a while since I've been on here. It's been about a year since I've, recorded a video, but I'm back. I'm back. Of course, we already know there's been a lot going on in the world. We just got out of an election about a couple of months ago, and rumors of wars going on, and people are hurting. Communities are hurting, children are hurting, parents, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. But I want to talk about the pastor, the church, and you. That's what I'm talking about. The pastor, the church, and you. Let's deal with that for a moment. A while back, about a year ago, I did a couple of videos. I did a video about, I think, the church, traditions, and religion. And today, I just want to talk about the pastor, the church, and you. Because I'm hearing too many stories about, these pastors that are getting caught up in some things. They're getting caught up with, sleeping with members of the church. They're getting caught up with, in areas of homosexuality where the very thing that they condemn and say that is not of God. They're getting caught up with stealing and robbing from the people, of God. They've been, being looked at as pimps rather than pastors and teachers and spiritual leaders. And so there's a lot that's going on when it comes to pastors, you know what I mean? And it's really bringing a stain on the church. It's really tarnishing the body of Christ, you know what I'm saying? And so I want to kind of separate some things because, a lot of people have different opinions and beliefs about certain lifestyles, how people live their lives versus, in their relationship with God. And I know some of you out there may question your very existence, your very relationship with God because of your lifestyle, because of who you are, whether you a gay male or a gay female, and you might, God ain't, God, and you look at yourself as a sin, as a walking sin, because you feel like, well, I'm this way, and I don't live my life according to the Bible, but I know God is compassion, God is mercy, and I know God will forgive me for this, that, and the other. And that's a whole nother story and a whole nother topic. But I just want to let me first address these pastors, okay? And then I'm going to address the church, and then I'm going to address you. Talk directly to you. But let me address the pastors. Okay. Now, everybody know the story of Eddy Long. Eddy Long is gone. He's passed on, And the fact of the matter is that he's gone. The story didn't leave. I mean, even the day that he died, that story about him sleeping with or molesting or predatory behavior towards young men came up. And people were condemning that man even as he laid in his casket. You know what I mean? I mean, he couldn't get a break. Even in death, he couldn't get a break. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that had to do with how the church handled the situation. Okay? And see, the problem is that a lot of church members, congregants, and other leaders within the church don't feel that they are accountable for certain actions of the pastor. And all you would hear is Eddy Long did this, Eddy Long did that, Eddy Long did this, Eddy Long did that, Eddy Long did this. And I get it. I feel you. I understand you. And see, he's not the only story I'm going at because a couple of things has been happening within the community. But let me deal with him because that's a big story right now, where it was a big story. But I want to address something here. No one has mentioned anything about the parents, about the congregants, the congregation, and the other leaders within the body. When all that stuff was going on, it was all about Eddy Long because he was the bigger name. But my question to everybody is that, what about the accountability? Okay? I mean, do you really think that this man was able to do the things that he did and nobody else knew about it? Do you really think that if it was true that as he was accused of buying vehicles or renting vehicles or staying in hotel rooms with these young individuals or taking long field trips with these individuals, and you're telling me that none of the other leaders knew anything about it? His wife didn't know anything about it. The congregation knew nothing about these trips, knew nothing about the closeness and the developed friendships that he had gathered with these 13 and 14-year-old men. Nobody else knew about these things that were going on. That's the first question. The second question is that if he's the pastor, right? And so in this youth ministry that, these young men was a part of, he's being the pastor, there were people that he put over the youth ministries. He overseed the youth ministries, but there were individuals that he placed in positions to handle that ministry. Where were they? Where were they? See, the problem is that we have a tendency to make these men and women, in some cases, spiritual gods rather than spiritual leaders. And so when you make somebody a spiritual god, you begin to view and look at them as gods, and you don't think that they're subject to anything wrong. You don't think that they could do anything wrong, whether it be sin or whatever, adultery, fornication, predatory behavior, whatever. You don't think that they're capable of doing those things because you have made them spiritual gods. And then because of your shortcomings, because see, it's more than just the pastor. And that's what we got to understand here. And I want people to wake up and smell the coffee. It ain't just the preacher. It's the whole body. Because at the end of the day, if one fall, then that means all of you guys done fall. Somewhere down the line, somebody didn't do right. Somebody didn't do their job. Somebody didn't hold this man accountable for his actions. Somebody allowed him to get that type of power and that type of authority in that church to the point that they couldn't even touch him, couldn't even do anything to him, couldn't even set him down, even when they found out that most of the stuff possibly was true. So I'm listening at all these different, people all on social media, all in the news, Eddy long past, and the same story came up: predatory behavior. Let me tell y'all something. Don't you think it's funny? You all are was hard on this man, but I want to tell you something. He kept doing what he kept doing and kept leading and preaching and pastoring, not so much because of his arrogancy, but because most of his lay members, the congregation, didn't believe that the accusations were true. They didn't believe it. Yeah, he lost some members, but he kept about 15,000. You got to remember, in his heyday, this man started out with 25 to 30,000 members. Okay? That's when the ministry was really hot and going. He started out with 25 to 30,000 members. Then some members left, went down about 15,000. 15,000 people believed that the accusation that was against him was false. They didn't agree with it. So think about it. I want you to put yourself in his shoes. If you got 15,000 people to say, you know what, Pastor, I got your back. I believe that you're innocent. You got 15,000 now. You only get 12 on the jury. This man had 15,000 people that believed that he was right. Now, I'm not trying to defend him for his actions. But what I am trying to do, I'm so sick and tired of the hypocrisy that most of these dudes kick out here. Most of these individuals in news, social media, and all this stuff kick out here about individuals that have fallen. And they're not holding nobody else accountable. There are some people that are alive right today, even after the death of Eddy Long, should be held accountable for the situations that took place within that church. But they're not being held accountable. Because, you know what? Eddy Long became the fall guy. He became the one that everybody looked at and focused in on because he was the bigger name. He what brought news. Not the sister pastor. He didn't bring enough news. Not the deacon. He didn't bring enough news. Not the sister set Nates. He didn't bring enough news. Not the wife. She didn't bring enough news. What brought enough news is this one man, this Eddy. But do you really believe that this one man was responsible for the actions when he was writing checks, buying cars, paying for school tuition? I mean, these are the accusations now. And don't you have an accountant, an administrator? All these individuals is doing it in the body of Christ. So there should be accountability. All right? And it shouldn't be just a man getting up and saying, y'all should forgive me because, I committed this act, I sinned, and I should be forgiven for this. And, God had compassion for me, and I love y'all, and please forgive me for, and that's beautiful. Oh my God, that is so wonderful. Oh, so lovely. It's nothing wrong. Ask God, that's cool. I forgive you because I ain't perfect. I forgive. If I got a pastor, he go out like that, I forgive him. Bro, but first of all, let me tell you something. You got to sit down for a moment. You can't keep teaching to me. You can't keep preaching to me. You committed that act. Okay, cool. You need to go and you need to be taught some now. Now you need to be ministered to. Now you need some time to think about what you did, and then you come back with remorse and do the thing right the next time. But that ain't happening within the body of Christ. That ain't happening within the church. You know what's happening in the church? You either go too far to the left or too far to the right. You forgive, but you don't understand what forgiveness means. See, I got a background in all that. I've been a pastor, a sister pastor. I know that whole church ministry and all that stuff. I've been there, done that. But one thing I always stressed when I was doing it, I said, look, number one, please do not make me your spiritual God. I would tell anybody that. Don't make me your spiritual God. Okay? I mean, I'm your teacher, I'm your spiritual leader, but I'm not your spiritual God. God is your spiritual God. I'm subject to fall. I'm subject to sin. But at the end of the day, if I do, then my responsibility is to back up, look at what I did wrong, and make the necessary adjustments in the right way. And if it means for me to step down, then I need to step down. If it means for me to stop ministering for a while, then I need to stop ministering for a while. If it's 5 years, if it's 10 years, whatever the case might be. But a lot of these ministers don't want to do that because they're power hungry. It's all about power. It's all about money. It's all about fame and fortune. But you, the followers of the church, you don't realize the power that you have. Do you not realize that if you don't show up for church, that pastor don't have a church? Do you not realize that? They could have shut it down with the situation with Eddy. They could have shut it down. How they could have shut it down? Don't show up. I mean, if everyone stood their ground, the leadership, the members stood their ground and said, you know what, we're not going to tolerate this. You're going to have to deal with this in the right way. You have to sit down for 2 years. Or you're going to have to sit down for a year until we get this rectified, until we get this straightened out. But they didn't do that. They kept it going, and kept it going. And so now when the man had his funeral, what happened? All that stuff came back up again. And then they got an assistant, they got another pastor. And rumors already started about him. The man ain't even held the position long. Eddy long been dead about a month. And already rumors are out about this man. You know what I'm saying? Some people got an issue married to a white woman. Some people got an issue that he seemed a little bit gay, or his movement is kind of funny, or they don't like the way he talk. Oh my God, it's getting crazy out here, y'all. Listen, what's my point here? Let me tell you the point I'm trying to make is, there are some good men that truly love God. And they are really out here trying to help individuals in every way possible. In fact, I know of some. I know of some good ministers and pastors. I have sat up under some good ministers and pastors in my lifetime. Those that would go to the end of the world for you, you know, those that worked. They had a job as well as pastor, but they would buy you, they would feed you, they would clothe you out of their own pockets. I've met and have come across men of God like that. Okay? And I met those with the big cathedrals that you have to go through somebody to get to them. The bottom line is this. A lot of things that has been happening has turned us to church. And I don't think, if you're a believer or Christian, I don't think Jesus wants that. And everybody is looking over here when they should be looking over there. Everybody's focusing on, the topic of homosexuality and gay men and gay women and all that's going on, while you got adultery and fornication and all the other stuff going on over here. But everybody's focused, sort of like somebody else we know. They focus over here, but the problem is over there, if you know what I mean. So, I ain't gonna hold you long. God, let me inhale, exhale. The church, the pastor, and you. I'm AJ Copeland. This was Topics to Go. And remember, check out my website, identifyandconnect.org. Identity Outreach Incorporated, a nonprofit organization. Our goal is to help to supply resources for those that are unemployed. So if you're unemployed, or if you're gifted and talented in some areas where you model, you sing, you do poetry, you draw, you write, we want you to, come to our website and sign up, become a member of our become a member, and see how we can help you. All right, later.